Hey everyone! Today's summer interview series is going to be extra special. This is going to be my friend Darla, and she is coming to us live from the East Coast, so it's a little later in the day there. But I'm super excited for her to join us today because her life really is one of integrated living, where she's in a way that keeps the main things the main things. And so when she shares today, you guys are going to be so inspired and empowered because that's what she's done with her life is, taken the love of nursing and change that or transform that into a way that really does work for her and her family. And she still gets to do what she loves, but she gets to do it in a way that works around their family instead of working and being the main thing, right? A lot of times when we work, our lives have to work around that. But she has turned it around and done something and continues to do something she loves in a way that works. Let's see, I'm trying to add her here. We'll try it this way. There we go. Okay, so it's adding her. We'll give it a couple seconds here, but I'd love to hear that you're with us today tuning in. So drop a waving hand below and tell us you're here. And if you have any questions for Darla, go ahead and drop those below. I know she would love to answer those, especially when it comes to nursing, your baby, and pregnancy, all of that. She is just amazing, just an amazing resource for all of those things. And you can check out her page at More Motherhood, and you'll find some amazing tools and resources there if you are a pregnant mom or you are nursing, whether it's your first or your fifth, it doesn't matter. She has some great things there. All right, we're going to try to bring her on camera here again. All right. Oh, you guys can see in my husband's closet today. I forgot to shut the door. That's okay. So I'd love to hear, what are your plans for the weekend? What are you guys doing this weekend? We are actually flying to San Diego for a Strong Bonds event with the Army. Thankfully, they're covering the bill for the hotel and the flights. And it should be a great time, just being able to reconnect with each other and spending that time. And I'm going to get to see one of my friends who I haven't seen in, oh gosh, I know it's been like a year and a half, almost 2 years now. So I'm super excited to see Amy. All right, we're trying to add Darla here. We'll see if it's going to work. If not, we'll do our backup where we hop on Zoom. But it's going to work. I'm telling you, I'm calling it right now. Technology is going to work in our favor today so that you can all tune in and hear Darla's story right here on Facebook Live. And let's see, well, it says it's adding her, so we'll see. No answer. All right, let's try again. We're just going to keep trying. We're just going to keep trying to add her today, guys. Hey, Carla. How you doing, Carla? Oh,
hey,
Darla. Hey, Darla.
Hi.
Yay, it worked. Sometimes Facebook Live doesn't like to work for me, so yay.
I know I haven't done this.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Works for everything, right?
Yes, technology is not my strong suit, so here we are.
It's not mine either. I think every time after I do these, I'm Googling things like, how do I do this? How do I make this better? So,
yes,
but we're here.
Absolutely.
It's good. How are the boys? Are they entertained?
They are actually at a day camp this week, and
oh my gosh.
it's only 4 hours, but they are exhausted. Every day I pick them up, they are just drained because, they're not used to like all that structure. Yeah. And then from Monday to today, from 9 to 1, they've just been like in this school program. So it's really good for them.
That's fun.
Yeah. So they're off doing
so
their
fun.
thing.
And you get some free time too then, huh?
I know. Yay. Absolutely.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right. Well, for those who don't know you, if you could just tell us a little about yourself, tell us about your family, where you live, and what's your favorite hobby, Darla?
Absolutely. So I'm actually from Wisconsin, just like you. I guess the farthest back I would go would be I started my career as an Army nurse, so ROTC, which I know me, Zach, Troy, Steph, we all need to get together at some point. We really should. It'd just be a whole bunch of kids at this point. But so
it totally would.
that really would be the start of my journey as a nurse would be ROTC, because I really think it was the structure of the ROTC program that even helped me graduate from nursing school in some ways. So after that, I went active duty. So I've been in North Carolina ever since then. I
Wow.
did have a year tour in South Korea, which was amazing. So yeah, my whole career has been being a nurse. And the first 4 years started off as an Army nurse. And then I met my husband here. We're in North Carolina. Um, and it was just really easy for me to have a nursing job in the civilian world. And he had a business here. So I thought, yeah, maybe I don't need to be traveling around anymore. So then we settled here in North Carolina, and I'm beginning to really love it.
Yeah.
I have a very like a traveler heart. So the idea of staying in one place really made me anxious. So I think I spent like the first year with him kind of like not fighting necessarily, but in my own mind being like, am I really going to be here forever? And I finally, I love it. And this small town has a lot of big town stuff to do. So it's one of those interesting little things is we have very good restaurants and yoga studios. And so you get a big city feel in a small town. So it's perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the only
Yeah.
type of nursing I've done is working with moms and babies. So that's also important to know. The last 8 years, that's really been my specialty. I've gone on and got, I'm a certified of maternal newborn nursing. I got my lactation license just so I could help my patients more. And that I also ended up just kind of loving. At first, I was not sure if that's all I wanted to do in my nursing career. And then, I kind of surrendered and was like, hey, this is really cool stuff. And that's when I really delved deep into understanding the mom baby dyad and all that. So, yeah.
That's so cool. That's so awesome. So that was a little bit of your professional background. What did you love? I mean, obviously you loved working with moms and babies. You shared that. But just tell us a little bit about all the things that you loved about it and some of the things that you didn't love.
Yeah. I would say the shift work had a lot of benefits as far as because I've always worked the three, well, except in the Army, we obviously always had to go in on our other days off to do other tasks. But for the most part, it was the 3 days a week gave me, especially when I was single with no kids, it was four days of just being able to plan a lot of my own things. So that part was actually really cool. Having the stamina and the energy to get through the 13-hour days so that, in your days off, you're not completely just in bed all day. That part was really hard to manage, which is where a healthy lifestyle comes in, which is another one of my passions I think ROTC started me off with that too. Just exercising is probably be my main hobby. It's where I feel definitely the best after I've just exercised, and it really filtered out into my nursing career. I think that just helped me with a lot of aspects, getting through the shift mentally and physically, and then enjoying your days off better because you feel better. So the structure of the hospital can be pretty difficult at times. That part was, you're wanting to take care of your patients the best, and then you feel like you have too many patients that day, but that's just the assignment you've been given, and that's what you have to do to help out your team. So that part was kind of hard also, not knowing every day when you walk in what your day is going to be like, so not being able to exactly prepare. That part gets a little bit frustrating.
Yeah. Well, I think you had shared with me too about a lot of it depended on who your manager was. Is that right? Where you had worked. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've worked in a few hospitals at this point, and just the different management styles can really bring in a different environment. I've had managers who are more stay in the office, do that sort of thing, and you might be able to see them every once in a while. And then I've had very, very involved managers where they're even working on the floor with you. So they kind of can, as a leader and manager, they kind of can mold the environment to whatever it is, depending on how they grow their staff nurses. And then as a staff nurse, you also have the opportunity to be a leader. You don't necessarily have to have that role of leadership to be the one with a positive attitude. So that part's always important too. Like whenever you would show up, part of the teamwork thing I was talking about is even if you felt like you had a lot of patients to take care of and things are crazy, always feeling that pressure of being like, okay, I need to still have the positive attitude and, maintain composure and all that stuff too. So, yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. So, what happened that, I mean, because you were obviously passionate about it, and frustrations come with anything, right? But what happened in your life that really made you switch gears and go in a different direction?
Yeah, these two naughty boys that I have right now is what really. So we adopted two boys from South Korea, and they came home. It's been about a year, a little over a year at this point. And I think when that happened, I had no clue how I was going to feel as far as, am I going to keep working? Am I going to be, you just can't really prepare for that stuff. So I didn't change my course when they got home. I just took my maternity leave and then I hopped right back into what I was doing. And it was completely different. Being away from my boys for those 12 to 13 hours, that without kids was no problem for me, was all of a sudden like, I couldn't get through it. And then especially when I worked a few days in a row, knowing you literally don't see your kids for a few hours, that really took a toll on me. So we have the opportunity where I can put all the stuff that I've learned as a nurse out into the community. And I wanted to do this for a while. And I think that was my big push is instead of sitting here complaining and being miserable, showing up to a job that I really that was the hardest part is you love what you're doing, but it's just different. And so I don't want to just sit here and be bitter. And on my days off, I felt like I was catching up on all this time with my boys, right? So it was a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I didn't take any time for myself because I was like, oh, nope, I've already been gone for these days. I need to make sure every waking second is for them. So that all just compiled up after a few months. And then I started thinking, I really like teaching yoga. And I have all this nursing knowledge that I think moms in the community could use. So yeah, in a way, my boys are really the ones who pushed me to do that. And I know somebody in the community, she's a doula. She had already been doing this prenatal and postnatal fitness. She does childbirth education as a doula. So I was like, been kind of following her on Facebook, and her and I just kind of connected, and why don't we just combine forces a little bit? And I got out and made my own business, and now we're in the same building, and she does her thing and I do mine. And hers is a lot more like established because she has been doing it for a while. So I'm still trying to, build clients and figure out what my future is going to be. But it's just been really fun. And just like being relieved of, I'm okay with my boys being in this day camp this week because I have all this other time with them. It's not this big guilt trip that I've been given. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. So what does your life look like now on your day-to-day? What kind of services do you offer? Why don't you tell us a little bit about More Motherhood?
Yeah, so More Motherhood it is a bunch of support groups every week. We offer a motherhood support group. The second Tuesday is a specific breastfeeding support group where I'm there to kind of answer questions. I also do breastfeeding workshops. So if you're pregnant and you just kind of want to kind of know what this whole breastfeeding thing is about to prepare you. That is in more of a classroom setting. I have a going back to work and pumping class because that's a whole different ball game. So, you spend all your maternity leave and then you're like, oh, I have to go back to work. What am I going to do with my milk supply? How I still want to give my baby breast milk, but I don't know how. So I have a class for that. Then I have a newborn postpartum class, kind of what are they going to be doing to you and your baby in the hospital? And what are some things that you can expect so that when it happens, you're like, oh yeah, I remember this is completely normal. Or I probably need to contact someone at this point because that's not normal. And then I'll do private lactation, which has been picking up a little bit. So someone who their breastfeeding journey hasn't been going exactly how they thought, and they need some extra attention. I go to their house or they come to my office, and we go over their specific situation, and I come up with a care plan for them to help them with breastfeeding as much as possible.
Yeah, I think this is amazing because, for those of you listening who have not had a child before or who have struggled with breastfeeding, what Darla is doing is amazing because when you have your baby at the hospital, a million people come in and they talk to you, and one is a lactation consultant, but you really, unless you specifically reach out and call them, there's not a lot of support there, and you see your doctor maybe like a couple weeks after, and again, there's not a lot of support there. So what Darla's doing is so needed in our communities for
Thank you.
women.
Yeah.
The support, it really is. It really is. So what advice would you like to give people who, are, maybe they're nurses too, maybe they're frustrated with the politics of the systems and the structures of, the office hours and everything like that, but they really love what they do. What advice would you give them?
If you're already a nurse or if you already have a profession, you already know everything. So my advice would be to, one, be prepared for failure. Failure is can be a normal set of the process. And you might need to, if you're not, I don't want to say like everything is going to be a struggle, but that idea means that you're growing. If everything is going so smoothly, that just means you're doing things that are in your comfort zone. So being okay with the idea of, I've been so comfortable in my job that if you're going to branch out and do something else, be okay for those little stumbles and possible failures, and to just pick up and go on. You already have the tools as a professional to do that. You probably just don't know. You've probably just been structured in a way where you might not have the confidence to know that. But especially nurses, it's exactly that was what your orientation was about. That was what your education was about. My other thing was just to be authentic to yourself. Don't go off and do something because you think that's what you should do. I know like a lot of nurses get in that, well, she's going off and getting her master's and she's doing this. Maybe I need to go and do that. And I don't think that's sustainable. I think what happens when you go and do something because you think you should, it won't last very long. So being authentic to what you want to do, which means that you need to probably do a little bit of soul searching to start with, and to figure out what makes you happy. And we don't spend a lot of time doing that. So even if it's the 10 minutes in the car ride, turning off the radio and thinking for just a little bit of, gosh, what actually is like bringing me joy about this job? Can I do something else with that? And the good news is someone else is probably already doing what you want to do. So you just have to be able to go out there and figure out who's doing it, so you can kind of gain ideas. It's okay. You don't have to be scared. Someone else is already doing it, I probably shouldn't then. That sort of thing. No, go see what they're doing and see if you can bring in your own special touch to it, and take their ideas. If they're as good of a business that you think they are, they're going to want to help grow you. So taking the time to go and talk to them. Hey, I kind of see that you're doing this. Would you mind meeting with me or talking to me on Facebook or FaceTime? I would love to be doing something like that. And most of the time, these people are really going to want to help you. Being authentic to what you want to do. Don't do it because someone else is doing it, and being okay with failure. And just kind of being creative in how can you put your special spin on something. And that then everything kind of falls into place when you're being yourself and you're presenting yourself as yourself. Everything else will tend to fall into place. It should.
That's so true. Yeah, that's so true. It's so powerful what you just said about that, because if leaders are really true leaders, they will help you, right?
Absolutely.
Leaders are not the ones who are way out in front of the crowd by themselves. They're pulling people along with them and helping them and lifting them up, right? So, so this is kind of off track a little bit, but do you think that you're going to be doing some kind of virtual classes or virtual meetings with people for consultations in the future anytime soon? Because I know people watching right now are nationwide and beyond. And I know I have some nursing moms on here that might want some support that way.
Right. Yes, especially actually the yoga part. I don't know if I mentioned that. Part of what I do also is I do the prenatal yoga, and that part I was thinking about putting in some classes online for people.
Oh, that's awesome.
I really like to make my classes specific. So something I do with those is I ask the women in the beginning of the class, like, how are you feeling today? Do you have any aches, pains, or requests for me? So that part would be very hard to do a virtual. But I know there are some people where they would rather have that than nothing. So,
Right, right.
um, and the breastfeeding thing, absolutely, is
Absolutely.
I could do the workshops on. That's something else is
We can still see you and hear you, so that's good.
okay. Good. I'm hearing something else in
Yeah.
the background, so I didn't know.
Uh-oh.
And the
Okay, all my
breastfeeding
kids are
works.
downstairs, so sure.
The breastfeeding workshops could definitely be online too. And then the
Mm,
private consultations, like you've already shown, you can do this stuff online. I just have to
that's right.
I just have to be the one to, again, get out of my comfort zone and
Mm,
learn something
dive
new.
in.
And I definitely think that that is the future of a lot of lactation consults is doing things online. So maybe,
That's awesome. All
yeah,
right. Awesome.
that got
Awesome.
me
Well, if
thinking.
anyone is, yeah, awesome. Well, if anyone is interested in anything that Darla offers, then please like her page, More Motherhood. Comment below if you want any information and I can get you guys connected or send Darla a message. I'm sure she would be happy to help you in any way she can. Is there anything
Absolutely.
else that you'd like to share today, Darla, while we're here?
I don't think so. Just thank you so much for having
Well,
me. I
thank
really
you.
appreciate all
Thank
these
you.
interviews you're doing, and it just
Thank
kind
you.
of helps inspire people. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
I really appreciate you saying that and spending the time here with us today.
Yes.
And like I said, let us know you're here. We'd love to connect with you and support you in any way we can, no
Yeah.
matter what you're doing with your dreams.
Yes.
Right? All right. Well,
Exactly.
thanks so much, Darla.
Okay.
I hope
Thanks,
everyone
Chelsea.
has a great weekend. Yeah, thank you. All
You
right.
too.
Bye, guys.
Bye.